You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 LPFM Lexington. You can check out our live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks on our Facebook Live. Or if you are out of the Lexington area, you can download the WLXU app on your smartphone device. This is radio broadcast number 7, but episode number 265 in the overall series of the show. Amber is in the studio with me, and Amber, I don't know if it's the radio gods or not, but why is it that every Thursday it pours the rain?
I don't know, and I feel like we talked about this last week as well, and I think we might have jinxed ourselves.
Yeah, because we had such a beautiful day last Thursday, or 2 weeks ago, and then as soon as we mentioned it, every other Thursday that we've been here now, it's just been a monsoon.
It's been a monsoon.
Well, it's been a busy week for a lot of people. It's been an enjoyable week for a lot of people because, for the most part, a lot of us got a 3-day weekend from work, an extended weekend, if you will. You can't really say the same for you and me because you're a full-time student and I'm off for summer vacation.
Why you gotta call me out like that?
But for the most part, a lot of people got a 3-day weekend because of Memorial Day. And I don't know of many places that don't take off for Memorial Day. Do you?
Well, working in hospital settings, we were not allowed to take off, the holiday. So I have worked many a Memorial Day.
A lot of people use this weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, to spend time with family because it's a 3-day extended weekend. They use it to do things like go to the lake, cook out, have family reunions. Some people get married during Memorial Day because it's a 3-day extended weekend. They just use it for maybe a weekend getaway. But
I could see that.
A lot of people like to make use of that time off. And, I've not been used to working a lot because as a professor, you don't work many hours. So when you do have a job where you work a lot of hours, when you have Memorial Day off, you feel every second of it off.
Oh yeah, you feel like you're on a week vacation with that 3-day.
You really do. So Memorial Day is an American holiday, and it is observed on the last Monday of May, honoring the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. Let me just give you some history, if you would like to hear some history about Memorial Day, of how it became a holiday. 3 years after the Civil War ended, on May the 5th, 1868, the head of an organization of Union veterans called the Grand Army of the Republic established Decoration Day as a time for the nation to decorate the graves of the war dead with flowers. Major General John A. Logan declared that Decoration Day should be observed on May the 30th. It is believed that date was chosen because flowers would be in bloom all over the country. And obviously, that was changed because it's May 30th today.
Yep.
And Memorial Day's already passed, so now it's just the last Monday of May. The passage of the National Holiday Act of 1971 by Congress made this an official holiday. So that's how Memorial Day even exists. But I do think that a lot of people get confused with Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Memorial Day is a day to remember those who served in the military who has passed away.
Yeah.
And Veterans Day is a day just to celebrate veterans in general.
In general.
But I have something to ask you, and I couldn't wait to get to the studio to have this conversation with you.
Oh, jeez.
Because Memorial Day weekend, it made me think about this. I think nowadays, and I don't know if it's just an Eastern Kentucky tradition or not, I don't know if people do it everywhere, but nowadays I feel like Memorial Day isn't just a day where people honor those who served in the military who's passed. I feel like it's a day where they remember just the dead in general.
Oh no, that's a very true statement.
So, yeah, I'm talking like people are going to graves and decorating graves of people who was never even in the military. They're decorating Mama's grave, Papa's grave, Bubby, Sissy. It don't matter. They're decorating the graves. Is that just an Eastern Kentucky tradition, or do you think that's happening everywhere?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's very prevalent in Eastern Kentucky. I mean, all of my family posted photos over the weekend of graves, which is very awkward.
Okay, but so they posted pictures of graves, but the people that they posted these pictures of these graves,
they were not in the military.
They were not in the military.
No.
But I think I don't know if it's just an Eastern Kentucky tradition or if they do it all over America. If people are decorating just graves in general on Memorial Day?
I mean, I guess for some people it's fine. It is a way that, you get your family together because you do have that extended weekend, and you can go and remember people who have passed. I personally don't like it because I just don't like going to graveyards in general. But, more power to anybody that does.
Yeah, but I think people use Memorial Day as a day, too, to visit graves because people don't typically like to go to the graveyard.
No.
I don't think that's happening as much as it used to, but people use Memorial Day just as a day to go decorate a grave of a loved one, whether it's a child that you lost, and it doesn't even have to be military. But I just wonder if that's something that we only do in the mountains or if people are doing it...
Like in the cities or in any other state, do people do that?
But you seen all these pictures of all these flowers on these graves.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful flowers. But I wonder, these people who pass away, though, because because of Memorial Day, death has...
It's very prevalent right now.
Very prevalent. But I wonder those who pass away and they don't have burial insurance, what happens to them? Do they just put them in a garbage bag and throw them in the creek?
Well, no.
What happens to these people?
Are you talking about, just in general, I guess people who have family or people who don't have family? I guess that's the best question to ask.
Okay, I should have been more specific. People who don't have anybody, they don't have burial insurance, and they pass away. Let's say they were homeless. What happens to the body?
So you can see sometimes on Facebook where a couple of the news stations here will kind of try to reach out to the public, and they'll give the deceased name and say, hey, do they have any family members?
Yeah.
But I think that we actually have burial plots for our states for people to go to. So we don't just put them in a bag and throw them away. I mean, I think they do still get a burial process, but obviously it's not as elaborate as some of, the funerals that I've been to.
I'm like you. Graveyards are weird. Funerals are even weirder. I am not a fan of funerals. And I know people who will go to a funeral like it's a concert. People will go to funerals. It don't matter who it is that died. The guy, they maybe talk to him once or twice in their life. They'll go to their funeral.
And put on them theatrics, man.
They do. Why is it when people die, everybody all of a sudden knows who they were? And they talk about them.
And they're the best person.
And they're the best person.
Man, when I die, I don't want you to say I was the best person. I don't want you to say that everybody liked me. I want you to say I only liked a handful of people, and the rest of the people I didn't worry about.
It's not really that death bothers me. I'm not afraid to die. It's not that I'm scared of death. I just don't like the rituals that are performed after death, like funerals. And again, this might be an Eastern Kentucky tradition, but you have these things called wakes, these visitations, they call them. And it's not necessarily the funeral. It's just the night or two that they have before the actual funeral. They have the funeral home open and the caskets open, and it allows people to come in and view your dead body.
I don't.
Why do we want to have a 3-day funeral?
I think that the best person who described this was Ray Stevens. Do you remember him from the 90s, Ray Stevens?
If Shania was mine.
Okay, not Shania was mine, but he actually had a song, I Ain't Sitting Up With the Dead No More.
He didn't sing If Shania Was Mine, did he? Who was that?
I have no clue. I was letting you run with it.
Anyway, I think that was Cletus T. Judd.
Anyway, Ray Stevens said, I ain't sitting up with the dead no more. And I think that that's probably the best song that I could ever describe how I feel about funerals.
Ray Stevens. Hey, it's me again,
it's
Margaret.
Me again, Margaret.
Are you naked? I remember that. But yes. So, but funerals in general.
No, my granny loves funerals. My granny will go to everybody's funeral. And I love my granny. My granny's a good woman. But, man, she turn on them waterworks.
Does she?
Yes, she does. She be jumping over pews sometimes.
I don't.
Knocking flyers off.
But people, they treat funerals like it's no big deal. People will eat at funerals. I don't understand when people can eat
you
at
don't
a funeral.
Like a funeral home sandwich?
No, those little tuna sandwiches.
No, they're not tuna. It's bologna salad.
That is disgusting.
It is delectable.
No.
Yes.
How can you eat with death in the air?
I was younger. I mean, think about when you were, 7 and 8 years old.
I did. I was 7 and 8, and I saw people eating them funeral home sandwiches.
Well, don't you remember they kind of put you back in a little room, and you kind of just got to hang out with your cousins you hadn't seen in a while?
I mean, that was maybe for you, but...
Okay, well, that was how my family was.
But yeah, people will bring in feasts at funerals.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the thing that has turned me off of funerals is people expect you to have a certain response. You know what I'm talking about? They expect you to go in there, and they expect that you're going to make a spectacle.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. Like, go in, chill out, sit in the back, and go home. If you absolutely have to go.
When I die, and this is public because this is streaming across the Lexington airwaves right now. When I die, I do not want to have a funeral.
Same.
I do not want to have a casket where people are standing over my body, looking at my body. I would, if that happens, just close the dang casket. Just close it.
There's those pods, those tree pods now. Have you seen that? Where they, cremate you and put your ashes in a tree pod?
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Well, as far as being buried, I get it. You're dead. Just the thought of being underground kind of freaks me out. But I will say this. I would like to be put in a tomb because it's above ground and it's sealed up. But I tell you, a lot of my family, when they die, they get buried. I don't know if I have any family members that have been cremated. I do know people who have been cremated.
Yes.
But I don't like the thought of burning either.
Well, unfortunately, my father passed away, in 2014, and we did cremate my father. And I remember that entire time, when the process was happening, I just felt so uneasy. But it was, that was what he had requested, so went through with his request. But no, I think it brings like a thrill factor.
On the show thread, I'm reading that Wade says he's not even going to be embalmed. See, what scares me about being embalmed or not being embalmed is that opens up the potential of being buried alive. Could you imagine being buried alive?
No.
Because when you're embalmed, you're dead. Everything is out of your body, like your blood.
Are you DED dead?
You are DED dead. So when you're embalmed, but I don't know, Wade. I would reconsider that if I was you. But some people, they like to make plans. They like to get everything, their burial site. I think that's a little strange when I can see somebody who's not already dead. Their name's already on the tombstone, or their picture is already on the tombstone. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
That people put their picture on the tombstone. I was driving. A lot of my family members are buried at Green Acres in Whitesburg behind Walmart, and I remember just it's a very public graveyard because it's right beside of Walmart. I remember driving by there one day, looking over at one of the tombstones, and it was a tomb. It was an actual tomb.
Oh.
And I recognized a picture of the lady that was on the tomb, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that she died. And I drove by, I stopped to look to see if it was her, and it was. But after reading the tombstone, what it was she just had her picture placed on there, so she's ready to be laid to rest when she dies.
I don't want to get to that point in life, though, like where I'm thinking of, okay, this is where I want my mortal body to go. I don't want to think about that.
No.
It
just... I can't think of it, but yeah, just the thought of being put underground, being cremated. What I would want is to have if you must have a funeral, make sure that the casket is closed for me.
I got you.
Make sure it's closed for me. And once the burial time comes, don't bury me, don't cremate me, just put me in a tomb.
Put you in a tomb.
Just put me in a tomb. Don't put my picture up there, put my name, and it'll be all good.
Slap you in there.
Yeah, I think it'll be... I think that's how... what would your request be for burial?
I do not want a funeral. I'm just going to put it at that. I honestly don't care at that point because my soul is no longer here. So at that point, I really don't care. I'm kind of private-ish. I don't want a lot of people staring at me. So just very quietly in the night, put me somewhere.
Just funerals in general, the ritual of a funeral, I don't know if it helps people. Some people say it does. But I feel like that when you go to a funeral, your heart is already down in your stomach. And I feel like that when people at funerals get up and they start talking about and singing these sad songs, and they're like, go rest high on that mountain.
No.
Go to hell. And I'm like... Dude, and it's like they're just stomping on your heart.
I know, and it's like, man, I'm already upset. Don't Don't drag it out.
I promise you, folks, this show is going to liven up a little bit. But we are done with our first segment here on Off the Cuffs, and we will be right back after these words. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Technical difficulties in the studio, as always. And what irritates me about the technical difficulties in here is we had 15 minutes to prep for the show.
We did.
We did.
And we usually do not have that amount of time.
No.
I don't think people understand the pressure that is placed upon us when we walk in this door.
No, and every time that I cue something up or I have, like, amazing music to play, it never works coming back from commercial. It works when I test it out, but for some reason, it doesn't work when I am trying to put it across the air.
Are you going to try to play it again?
Yeah, I'm going to try to play it again. Let's see if it works.
Okay. There we go.
Come from a lot of...
Trying to make a living and working hard to get to heaven where I come from.
You see,
I think it sounds pretty nice. That's a good song.
I just wish it would work when I would want it to work.
Well, we can't have everything.
But we were talking about a lot of Eastern Kentucky traditions before we went to break, and I seen on the show thread, Ryan says that he thinks that Memorial Day stuff only is in Eastern Kentucky. He does think that people are only decorating the graves of non-veterans in the mountains.
And I would say that's probably a very true statement.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, because I don't really know anyone else who is doing that.
Well, in the mountains, we like family.
We do.
We like family.
We're all about ritual. We're all about tradition. And we just like doing things together. I love Eastern Kentucky. Growing up in Eastern Kentucky, there's no place like it. And I've said it before. What's wrong with a lot of kids today is that they don't sit on the porch and break green beans with their mama anymore.
You know I would.
But
I did.
But that's what's wrong with a lot of people. I'm telling you, like...
No, I get what you're saying. There's definitely a lot of things that are different now than what they were when we grew up.
When my mama was alive, I remember sitting on the porch, because front porch sitting in general was always just a big deal. In the mountains.
that was the social media of the 80s and 90s, was sitting on the front porch.
Sitting on the porch, and I would sit on the porch with Mama. She'd have a little apron over her legs, and she'd have a bucket of green beans, and buddy, we would just break them beans, and we would have conversations, and my Mama would always talk to me like I was an adult. She did. She would talk to me like I was 35 years old.
Would she talk to you about other people in the family?
She would. Oh, she always gave me some good gossip.
I loved good gossip from my granny.
I mean, and what I loved about it is she never treated me really like a kid. It was just, when we talked, she talked to me like I was a grown man. And we had great conversations.
No, I mean, I get it. I miss that, actually, because I feel like, my mother loves to talk to me like I'm a child sometimes, but my granny did not.
Right.
I was allowed to sit down. I was allowed to converse about, days of our lives. Mm-hmm. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah. They literally wanted to know your opinion, like legit.
They did. It was like a breath of fresh air when you started talking to them.
And when you're a kid, you want to feel like an adult.
Oh, you do.
And you want to be invited into those adult conversations. And it was always great when you've had somebody in your life, an adult, that treated you like one.
Yep.
And it was typically grandparents a lot of the times.
It was my granny.
Yeah. And I don't know if that, again, is just the mountain grandparents or not, but that's...
Well, I guess I should say, my granny treated me like that. Now, my mama did not.
Yeah.
My mama did. But there's a difference.
Between Mama and Granny?
Between Mama and Granny. Mama is very formal. Granny is not.
I can get behind that, because
yes.
I can definitely get behind that. I can relate to that. But yeah, there's a lot of Eastern Kentucky traditions, front porch sitting, breaking green beans with your mama. Just what are some things that you can think of that is pretty much just an Eastern Kentucky tradition? Because when I think Eastern Kentucky tradition, a lot of it you see on the holidays. Like we talked about Memorial Day.
Yep.
On Easter, hunting eggs was always... It was guaranteed. You were going to be hunting eggs.
Oh, yeah.
You were going to be hiding them and hunting them.
Oh, yeah. Somebody was getting that prize egg.
Christmas time. Do you still hang stockings at Christmas time?
I did not this past year, but I do. For some reason, I love the cheap ones that you just write your name in like a Sharpie on the white part of it.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite.
Yeah. And having the box fan in the windows and air conditioners in the windows.
Watching Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes. And those air conditioners were so cold.
Oh, I know. know.
They would yeah.
But remember, you could not. You wanted to put your face up against it, but they used to have blades in them. Remember?
Yeah.
They had the blades in them, but you were always tempted to put your finger in it, or at least I was.
I do want to talk about this story, Amber. It's kind of an old story, and because I've been keeping up with it, and it's about the missing boy that was found in McGoffin County, Kenneth Howard. He was 22-month old, and what an amazing miracle that happened that he was even found, because he went missing for a couple days, and for a 22-month-year-old to be missing for a couple days, the end result is usually not good. And you think about all of these children in the past who have just vanished. This young man, this young 22-month-old Kenneth Howard, he could have been another statistic. And because the story was starting off just like all of these famous missing children stories started.
It was.
Like Kenneth Howard, he went missing out of nowhere, right?
Yep.
It was on Mother's Day. He was outside spending time with his family. His parents were watching him. They turned around for just a few seconds. They turned right back around. He was missing.
And he was gone.
He was gone. And luckily, the police found him. And I think it's still being investigated, this whole thing, because there's been some, speculation about the parents.
Well, yeah,
losing their kid.
There's definitely going to be speculation, but I think that it kind of showed, just I'm going to say a true testament to Eastern Kentucky. Everybody came out, everybody was involved, and thankfully the little boy was found. And not only was he found, but I think how people have reacted afterwards. I don't know if you've seen the article where they had someone dressed up like Batman come and kind of play around with him. So I think that the community has really pulled together to try to, I guess, help him forget this childhood trauma, because that's a very significant trauma. I couldn't imagine ever dealing with something like that.
But the end result, it did work out for him. He did get found, but a lot of these missing children in the past, they didn't have that same miracle. A lot of them were not found. And I was thinking of some of the most famous missing children that have went missing around the world. The first person that pops up into my mind is Adam Walsh.
Yep.
And his dad is John Walsh.
John
Walsh, and he hosts
America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted. That entire show was inspired by his son going missing.
I think they were like in Sears, just shopping around, and he was abducted.
Out of nowhere. His mom was with him, and I think that he was, and it was a different time, wasn't it, the 80s?
It was in 81.
And it was a different time, and his mom was in there with him, and gone.
Well, unfortunately, they did find him 2 weeks later. They did find him. And, his little, unfortunately, his little body was just laying in a little canal. But, in that time frame, I mean, I could not imagine what they went through. No, I couldn't imagine that.
I can't either.
I mean, for 2 weeks, you wonder where your child's at.
Yeah. So you do have that closure. Okay, I know what happened. I don't have to worry about him starving to death, or he's cold, or he's being mistreated. I mean, you still keep that hope up that they're alive, but sometimes that closure is good. And now we have, because of Adam Walsh, we have Code Adam.
We do. We have Code Adam now.
And I see that every time I walk into Walmart, and you probably see it too.
Every time you walk, almost any department store, you've got Code Adam, which is just when a child goes missing, they call a Code Adam, all the doors shut. So you can no longer go in and out of the store. And it's just really to kind of contain, because that's probably what happened, was nobody shut the doors and somebody walked right out with
them. And it was easy for him to walk out. So cool. So if you're telling me that if I have a kid and my kid goes missing in Walmart, I could go say Code Adam, my kid's missing.
You go just immediately up to customer service, and they will call a Code Adam,
and they'll shut down the store.
Yep.
I like that.
Shut down the store.
I do, because that could potentially save a child from getting abducted.
It probably was not going to save me, because I got lost in Walmart when I was little.
Really?
Yeah. And my mother put my brother manning the door. And he would have let me walk right on out, because he wanted to be an only child.
Well, how long were you lost?
I was lost, I think, for like 30 minutes. I just remember, I was in trouble.
Well, that feeling, too, when you get lost, it's so scary, because you feel like when you're that age and you can't see your mom and dad, you feel like you're never going to see them again.
Everything, like your whole world is gone.
It's gone. You're never going to see them again, and you're lost. And that is a scary time. But yeah, they have Code Adam, and don't they have, ironically enough, they have an Amber Alert too. So you got Code Adam, and then you have the Amber Alert.
You got the Amber Alert. So Amber Alert was Amber Hagerman.
Yeah.
She was a little 9-year-old girl down in Texas, just playing out in her front yard with her brother, riding around on her bike, and somebody just came by and took her. And then, unfortunately, a few days later, somebody was walking their dog, I think, and they discovered her little body. But I think, her mother pushed for something to happen, because there was no way for people to be like, hey, my child's missing and this is the car that they're in. Because, if you get an Amber Alert now, I mean, your phone is immediately going to go off. Doesn't matter if you have it on silent. You're going to see it. We've got, those big digital signs on the road now, Amber Alert. So it's just a way to get information out, because, back then we had no way of communicating any of that.
Just when people go missing and it happens so fast and it happens so sudden, you probably have a hard time registering that it even happened. It takes me to that girl from Lexington, Savannah Spurlock, who was last seen leaving the other bar in downtown Lexington. And if you read up on that story, it was just a regular night. She hadn't been out in a while. She was going out with her friends. She said goodbye to her mom. She went to the bar, and she never came home.
And I can't imagine that.
And she's never been found. They still haven't seen her.
I don't know. I would like to think that, if anybody did do something to me, I've always said this, just take me home, to my mommy, just let my mommy have me so she can have rest. So.
And what about that kid a couple months ago from Covington? He wasn't from Covington.
Geez.
It was a poser. His name was Timothy Pinson, and he disappeared back in 2011. And he was last seen just playing in a water park in a swimming pool in Wisconsin, and then all of a sudden somebody steals him. He's never seen again, and then a couple months ago he pops up in a poser pops up in Covington claiming to be him.
That entire story really honestly disturbed me. That was probably one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen or read in my entire life. How can you do that to people? How can you do that to the parents of this child?
Chad says on the show thread, I'm going to have nightmares of my kids being abducted tonight. No, you just need to be aware. You just
be conscious
of cautious.
Your surroundings.
And be aware of your surroundings. Lock your windows. Make sure your doors are locked. People sometimes don't lock their doors at night.
I went to sleep the other night with my garage door wide open and the laundry room door partially cracked.
That was probably my fault.
Was probably you. Someone could have come in and just snatched Piddle or Ralph, and they would have been gone.
Would you have never spoken to me again?
Probably, but I would have been very upset.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take our next commercial break, and we will be right back after these words. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you in the studio. Amber is in the studio with me as well. Amber, the NBA playoff finals start tonight, and I used to have an entire NBA playoff series on this show. Me and my buddy Josh Bryant, we used to do a NBA series where we would really break down every single game of the NBA playoffs, and then it became too exhausting. Because
I was going to say, I don't think I could. I don't know if I could hang with that.
It's a lot of games. So instead of doing the series, because that was canceled, I decided not to do that anymore. But besides doing that, I just figured that I would just briefly mention it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the NBA playoff finals start tonight. Finally, we're at the championship game where they're going to be playing the best of 7, and it is the Golden State Warriors versus the Toronto Raptors. And it was, when the season began, it was universally expected that the Warriors would make it back to the NBA Finals for a 5th consecutive season. So they are a dynasty.
Okay.
I mean, they really are. The Warriors, they're just like your Lakers or your Bulls, or they're becoming that. And if they win again, they're going to have a three-peat this year.
Now, is that where Steph Curry is?
Steph Curry.
Okay.
Klay Thompson. Kevin Durant.
Okay.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh, okay. I did not know that he played for them.
A lot of people was wondering if DeMarcus Cousins was going to be back for Game 1. The answer is yes, he will be. Will Durant be back for Game 1? The answer is no, he will not be. Do the Warriors need Durant? Yes, they do. The idea of the Warriors, the idea that the Warriors are better without Durant is nonsense, okay? So with that being said, though, it would be equally foolish to think that the Warriors are unable to win the series without him. So Kevin Durant, he is a key player. They can win without him because it's been proven they've won without him before, but they need him to win. They need it to really lock in the win. This will be a huge win for the Raptors if they get it.
Okay.
You know, they're a Canadian team. The NBA has always bragged about being the National Basketball Association, and they have the World Championship is what they call it. But it's always been American teams winning the NBA championship. So this would be huge if the Raptors got a championship.
Now, is there anybody on there that I would know?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I mean, Drake likes them.
Okay.
You know a little bit about Drake?
I know a little bit about Drake.
The Raptors came to the NBA in 1995, and it's only going to grow the popularity in Canada. So I believe that the NBA wants, because in my humble opinion, I think the NBA is rigged. And I think they're sick of the Warriors winning. So it could go either way. They could want the Warriors to win to have their three-peat and to have that awesome dynasty. Or they maybe want to push revenue in Canada, so they're going to have the Raptors win.
I appreciate that you did say dynasty, though. Most people don't understand what that word means, so I appreciate that you used it in the right context.
It is. It's a dynasty. Well, Game 1 is tonight at 9 p.m. on ABC, so if you want to check out Game 1 of the NBA Playoff Series Finals, make sure that you do that. But speaking of basketball, let's talk about this SEC allowing alcohol to be sold at SEC events. So this is speaking of basketball, football, really any sporting event.
Yeah.
The SEC is one of the only conferences that does not allow alcohol to be served at their events. And now they are meeting in Florida today to talk about it, to see. And I don't know. I haven't checked in on this in the last hour or two, so I don't know if they have made it official. Let me know on the show thread. But they are going to talk about having alcohol at SEC games. I'm not for that.
No, because I've been to games with you, and I know how clumsy you can be with spilling things. So I would hate for you to...
It's not that I would be drinking at these games. It's just I'm not for alcohol being sold in these events because there's too many kids there. In the NFL, it's expected.
Yeah.
It smells like urine and it smells like beer at the tailgates. That's what a tailgate smells like in the NFL.
Okay.
But when you go to a UK football game, you see a lot of kids.
You do see a lot of kids,
And
a lot of family.
And a lot of people act foolish and ridiculous. They don't know how to handle their alcohol. Yeah, they can put limitations on it, 2 per person, maybe not have alcohol near a student section or whatnot. But if you actually open up the doors for alcohol to be served there, you're going to have problems. I promise you. And a lot of people are lighting it up right now saying, no, I want alcohol at these SEC games. It's probably going to happen. Just remember this broadcast. It's going to cause problems.
Oh, well, yes.
There will be a lot more problems than not that alcohol is being served. Everybody's like, oh, everybody's going to do what they want. They drink anyway. They're going to sneak it in. Yeah, okay, but they have to try harder to drink.
You've got to go through some steps to drink.
We're giving you an open invitation here.
Yeah.
We're giving you an open invitation to drink.
Because 9 times out of 10, people are not going to go through all those steps to try to sneak in a little bit of alcohol.
Ashley says, I sound like a person that buys lower seats at Rupp and then sits the entire game. That's an insult because I'm not one of those people that wears those blue sweaters, Ashley. Thank you very much. But no, I'm all about people having a good time and everything, but I just don't think that it is the right thing to do. I think it's fine without it. What is wrong with going into an event and not intoxicating yourself so much to where you have to have that's the only way you can have a good time.
How can you even enjoy the game if you're getting drunk up in the stands? People are going to fall off.
Yeah. I'm just not for it.
I agree.
Yeah. And since we're talking about basketball, let me just say that Brad Calipari is deciding to transfer. Brad Calipari, he's been on this show before. He's been a guest on Off the Cuff. Big fan of Brad. Brad's a big fan of the show. I think that it's a good decision for him to do that if he wants a little bit more playing time. I think that Brad it's expected because of the red shirt, hence the red shirt season. It is expected that he was going to transfer, but I think that him leaving and going to a different school, he is going to get to enjoy being Brad Calipari, okay?
And not Coach Cal's son.
And not Coach Cal's son. And a lot of people are saying he's going to Morehead State. I've heard that.
Okay.
I would be for it. If you're watching the Facebook live stream, you see that I'm wearing a Morehead shirt. I'm a little irritated at Morehead when I read the news that Preston Spradlin, though, was signed an extended contract to continue to be the coach of the Eagles. What are you thinking, Morehead? This Preston Spradlin, really? In his first full season as the head coach at Morehead State, he was 8-21.
Oh.
4-14 in the OVC conference. His second full season, he was 13-20 and 8-10 in the conference. And you're going to give him an extension until 2022?
Wow.
It really frustrates me. His overall coaching record at Morehead State is 33-50. He's won 39% of his games.
No.
It really irritates me when I see schools like Murray State, I see NKU, I see North Dakota State playing in the big dance at the end of March. That frustrates me because that could be us. That could be Morehead State. But no, we want to hire Preston. We want to keep Preston.
Tell me how you really feel about him.
Yeah, I better get off that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time for Off the Cuff to play its Song of the Week. So I would tell you to roll down your windows and enjoy the fresh air, but it's pouring the rain outside. So if you're out of the Lexington area and you're listening on the app at WLXU, you can roll down your windows if you have some sunny weather. But regardless, enjoy the That is from Dumb and Dumber, and that is a song that can make you feel good. People are writing me, texting me, asking me what in the heck that song is. It's called Boom Shakalaka. Boom Shakalaka. Amber, you know what May is? May is membership month. Lexington Community Radio depends on the support of our listeners and our community. We are 100% independent and 100% funded by the people we serve. Supporting the station is easy. Go to lexingtonCommunityRadio.org/subscribe. Choose a monthly amount that's right for you. $5, $10, $20, or if you're rich like Amber, donate $100. Every donation is important. Every donation helps us fulfill our mission. Support your friends and neighbors and help their voices be heard. Donate today at lexingtonCommunityRadio.org/subscribe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take our last commercial break and be back right here for our last segment here on Off the Cuff. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff, last segment of the hour. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in the studio with me. Do you ever look and see what's trending on Twitter?
All the time.
There's always a lot of interesting stuff. And I have to talk about this because I've been seeing this trend on Twitter for a while now. And the thing trending on Twitter was, do you wash every body part in the shower? Do you wash your entire body when you get in the shower? So I started thinking about that because it made me wonder, made me question myself. Do I wash every part of my body in the shower? Okay, I'm going to be real here.
Okay.
I do wash the bottom of my feet.
Okay.
But I do wash my stomach, my back, all the other stuff.
Okay.
Kneecaps, all the things that people saying that they sometimes don't wash. If there was one thing I didn't wash, it might be behind my ears.
Oh, no, I have to.
Do you really?
I have to wash behind my ears.
Is that pretty gross that I don't wash behind my ears?
It's a little...
So do you think if a girl started nibbling on my ear, do you think that she would stop because it tasted bad?
This big waft of sweat?
No,
weird
it's
skin.
not like that. Come on. No, it's not nothing like sweat. But okay, let me turn it around on you. Do you wash every single part of your body in the shower?
And
be real.
Let's see. I have a ritual in the shower. I feel like showering takes me like an hour. But yeah, I like to think that I do. I definitely wash the bottom of my feet because I like the way it feels.
Yeah, I do wash the bottom of my feet.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't like nasty feet.
So yeah, I'll go all down my legs. I think I don't, like, I try to get my back the best I can, but there is like a spot in the middle of my back I don't think
so
I
it
get.
probably is all sweaty and nasty.
Got that skin smell.
Got that skin smell and nobody's wanting it. But hey, if you guys have a part of your body that you don't wash in the shower and keep it FCC regulated, call us 859-721-5690, or you could talk about this next topic that we're going to be talking about on the show, which is your favorite physical quality in a person.
Okay.
Let me tell you what mine is. I'm going to tell you my favorite physical quality in a person, and I'm going to tell you my least favorite physical quality in a person.
Well, hang on. Person is in just like in general, or person that you're being romantic with?
I'll specify.
Okay.
Let me specify. So let's talk about my favorite physical quality just in general for a person. I love it when you have nice teeth. I do.
I love how you look straight. I have beautiful teeth.
I love it when people have a good smile. I love that. And somebody physically that I want to be romantic with, the girl has to be shorter than me. And I know that's very difficult because I'm only like 5'7", whatever. But you got to be shorter than me. If you're taller than me, I'm sorry, it ain't going to happen. And I have went out with a lot of tall girls, and it's just awkward. And I always feel like that it's the tall girls that like me, too. Because the little girls always want the big, tall guys.
That's true.
Okay, what about you?
So obviously, first and foremost, teeth, and this is for romantic and or just in general, because you know how I am with teeth. Definitely, if we're going to be romantic, like, you've got to smell nice. Like, some people don't like to wear cologne. I like to smell your cologne. I like a thick cologne. You're good with that, though. I feel like I tell you all the time you smell well.
Oh, appreciate it.
That was awkward. No, I think just overall hygiene. I think hygiene in general. And if you're wearing flip-flops and you have dirty feet, that will get me every time.
Oh, I also, let me just mention this. I don't like it when women have really long fingernails.
No, because I wonder how they sanitarily clean themselves when they go to the restroom.
Right. How is feces not getting behind your fingernails?
It is. That's why I don't have them.
All of these girls are like, ooh, look at my nails.
Look at my 2-inch nails.
What you got in them nails after you leave the bathroom?
You got boogies and poo.
Ha! You do. But my least favorite physical quality, just in a person in general, and I'm sorry, it's not nothing against you if you have one. I don't like people. I get kind of freaked out when people have that little dimple in their chin.
What's that called?
Some people call it like a butt chin.
Okay.
Jessica Simpson has one. So there are attractive people that have one. The McMahons have one. Vince McMahon, Linda, Shane, Stephanie.
Okay.
They all do. I mean, a lot of people have them, but I can't stand to look at them. I don't know what it is.
What about a butt chin bothers you so bad?
I don't know what it is. I think it's because I heard somebody call it a butt chin, and now that's literally all I see when I see it in their chin.
So if you met this just wonderfully attractive, educated woman and she had a butt chin, you would pass?
Unfortunately, I think I would.
Oh.
I would, and I don't mean to sound like George from Seinfeld and find this beautiful girl and he finds one thing wrong with her and he can't be with her. It's not like that, but I think if there's a deal breaker for me in the physical quality in a female, it's you got to have a smooth chin.
Smooth.
Okay. It's got to be smooth, and you got to have nice teeth.
Okay. I mean, both of those things could be easily corrected, though. I mean, would you, if you found somebody that you liked enough and they had either terrible teeth or a butt chin, would you feel comfortable enough being like, hey, can you?
Well, I do think that butt chins can be, there's got to be another name for this. There's got to be.
There probably is like an actual like medical term for it.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable keep saying that, but there's got to be some fix to it of some type of filler or that they can put in the hole.
Yeah,
of the chin.
There has to be like a filler they could place there.
Yeah. I don't even think I have friends with butt chins. No, I don't.
I'm trying to think of somebody that we might know.
Oh, bad breath. I don't like bad breath either. I can't take bad breath. If you have bad breath, brush your teeth. And people don't realize this, that bad breath is not from it. Can come from the bacteria on your teeth, but make sure when you're brushing your teeth, you're always scrubbing your tongue.
Brush your tongue, floss,
yeah,
mouthwash.
Stick that tongue out as far as it goes and brush brush your tongue, use mouthwash. Or as they would say in the mountains, use mouthwash.
Yeah, use you some fluoride mouthwash.
And last of all, what I seen trending on Twitter was that Uber is now going to be offering a service called Quiet Mode. Mode. So you can choose an option to quieten your Uber driver. And I like this because if you don't want to be bothered, you want to get into an Uber and you don't want to have a conversation with your Uber because sometimes you feel like it's a necessity. You have to do it.
Well, yeah, because they're doing something for you. So you feel like you got to be nice.
You feel like you got to be nice. Well, now you can pretty much like avoid the awkwardness and just tell everybody up front on the app, hey, I want to take an Uber and I want it to be quiet. I think that's cool because I wish they did that at hair salons and barbershops because sometimes I just want to go into a barbershop, get my hair cut, and not be pestered to death.
The dentist office needs to offer this as well.
The dentist office does. Why does the dentist office... You are so right. Why is it when you go to the dentist office and you got your mouth wide open in
you're vulnerable.
In the most vulnerable position you've ever been, they're sitting there having a full-blown conversation with you, asking you questions. So, how was your week? Did you?
And they wait for you to respond.
And they're like, how's your new job going?
How's your mommy and them?
Yeah, and you're sitting there and you're just like trying to get words out.
Well, and it's like you're sitting there trying to get words out. You get choked on your spit a little bit. Then everybody gets a little freaked out. You get awkward. And it's just an awkward situation.
Yeah.
If you're cleaning my teeth, just don't talk to me. Talk to me before or after.
But yeah, I do like this. And I hope a lot of people follow suit. I hope that they have the quiet mode option as well where they can, where people can choose to tell people that they want to sit, have the service done to them, and they don't have to talk. Because sometimes when you go to the barbershop, you feel like you got to talk. And they like to talk to you, but sometimes you just want to sit there and just get your hair cut.
And just relax.
That's all you want to do.
Well, before we move on from Uber, they're also going to start removing people from the app if you act a fool. So if you get into your Uber and you cause a commotion, they can lodge a complaint against you. And I think after maybe like 3 complaints, they can revoke your ability to use Uber.
Well, I said this before. Uber is modern day hitchhiking because you have no idea who is getting in that car with you as an Uber driver. And that's on both sides. As a driver, you have no idea who you're picking up. Somebody could just get in your car and say, put a gun in your face and say, drive. Or on the flip side of that, you're picking somebody up and somebody, or on the flip side, you're just getting into the car with an Uber.
Yep.
The driver you don't even know. It's modern day hitchhiking.
It was like that poor girl down in North Carolina. She got into the wrong vehicle. And remember, he killed her.
Yeah.
She thought it was her Uber.
Yeah.
And he was not her Uber.
No. Very scary stuff. Be cautious. Be safe out there, folks. Well, hard to believe that once again, ladies and gentlemen, that 60 minutes has passed and we have completed another edition of the show Off the Cuff. Amber, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
It's always a good time being here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to keep... Why do people keep screaming outside the studio?
You know, and see, my back's to the door, so it makes me feel a little weird.
Yeah, I hear noise.
Because I don't know what's going on.
I mean, does people not know that I'm on the air?
You're on the radio.
And they're screaming. Sorry for the frustration. But, ladies and gentlemen, to follow Off the Cuff, go to the Facebook page at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow us on Twitter at AdamBanks88. Follow me on Instagram at AdamBanks818. Or you can keep track of all of our previous episodes by subscribing on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. And make sure you download the WLXU app on your smartphone device. That is Amber. I'm Adam Banks. And this is Off the Cuff. And I will see you next Thursday from 4 to 5 here on WLXU 93.9